the bhakti has no meaning. Like these mad people, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. By saying these things, if you can achieve anything, then it is the easier. But the one thing that you spoil is the sex. You spoil the worst of all, and they always get throat cancer. The reason is, first of all, you spoil the center. You spoil the center because you go on saying Hare Rama, Hare Krishna too many times. What is there to take God's name like that? It's very, very cheap thing. If you are realized, you don't have to take God's name like that. There's a protocol of God. You have to take His name, you have to take it properly with a protocol, even after realization. But you just want to say Christ, 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 Christ on the way. Christ will be so angry with you. What is it? Is this such a cheap thing? First of all, you spoil the name here by taking, mechanically. Physically you spoil this thought. When I also speak too much, I have to get some sort of a soothing thing for my throat. So you can imagine a person who is not realized, who has no idea as to what name to be taken. He takes that name all the time, the mantra so-called that are given to you. You get spoiled this, plus you spoil this mantra because this left side, because you have taken the unauthorized name of Shri Krishna. So you are in for a throat cancer. You have taken the unauthorized name of Shri Krishna. So you are in for a throat cancer. If you want to get it, you better join with Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. And they are very near Krishna. How will they recognize Shri Krishna? But this chakra is the best among us for one reason. If this chakra is spoiled, say, smoking spoils it a little bit. In the beginning, if it is too much smoking, it spoils very bad. Then from the cervical sector, the nerves go down on both the sides. And the sensitivity in the hands is so little that when you start feeling the vibration, you may feel a jet of air coming out of your head. A great jet, but in the hands you may not feel anything. At all, there are many who just don't feel anything. In the beginning they just don't feel because there are hand and no sense. They have done greatest harm to their cervical head. And that's why this chakra is stopped. It doesn't give you the sensitivity. Though the Kundalini has passed through, but gradually then Kundalini spreads on the side and gives energy to this center, which passes through the system, and then you start feeling in the hand the all-pervading power, which is the norm. Otherwise, people don't feel it. They may feel it in the head, but not in the hand. I was really shocked when I came here 9 years back that this country was nothing but a chimney. That time, everyone, whether it was a woman or a man or a child, everyone used to smoke. And so much of smoking that really I didn't know how this we should be. So America is doing today. Now, please pay attention here, all right? Don't turn around your head. Now, this center should be used in such a manner that you keep your collectivity. A person who is an individualist, who keeps away from collective being, who does not give vibrations, sits at home before my photograph, wants to take vibrations and all that. Such a person will not be able to progress much in Sahaja. This has an inlet and an outlet. Unless and until you give, there is an outlet. There will not be the inlet of give, there is an outlet. There will not be the inlet of vibration. Is the radio in which you get. Now the fourth thing Krishna has said, in which you get Kundalini awakening and you get all these chakras active. He has given actually the action into which they move. Like the bandhas take place, how these chakras go and sort of catch hold of the part of the Kundalini and hold it up. And how these bandhas take place, all he has described, is the thing that happens when Kundalini starts. Like one can describe that when the car starts moving and all the other small bolts and nuts and all of them are there, they also start then moving one after another. The whole mechanism, the works, you can say, start manifesting itself. In the same way, within us, it starts working. This is what he said. But people are using it for Kriya Yoga, which is nonsense. Like you sit down, hold your stomach. But the Kundalini has not started. Why are you holding your stomach and hold your nose? Then you hold the ears. What is the use? The Kundalini has not yet started. Why are you doing all this nonsense? You see, there is this, your Yogananda, he will start this nonsense to you of Kriya Yoga. I mean, horrible. The amount of diseases one can get from this. I mean, unnecessarily you shave your head. Why to shave your head? By shaving your head, are you going to go to God? Then why has he given you hair? They shave their head. Nonsense it is, absolutely to shave your head. The sheep is shaved every year, twice. And by shaving your head, you are not going to go to God. These all nonsensical ideas. You shave your head, wear a funny dress, walk seriously like this, and you will go to God. One must understand that the happening has to take place, the Kundalini awakening has to take place itself. It is spontaneous, it is a living thing. By doing all these artificial things, you are spoiling yourself from grief. It automatically happens. But all this mechanism, you don't have to worry, because once the Kundalini rises, it happens. What is actually, I now feel that Krishna never knew that human beings will be so mad. For example, supposing if your car has not started, do you start moving its machinery by hand and believe that the car has started moving? It's the most absurd thing to do to spoil the car. And that's what exactly you do when you try to do this Kriya Yoga. There is a Kriya. You don't have to do any action. The action takes place by itself. It is built in. It is within it. I'll give you another example. Supposing there's a seed and you want to sprout it. Will you try to pull the primule out of it? Will it sprout? Is that senseless, I tell you? The way people try to do all these tricks, standing on the head, and God has given us legs to stand, not the head to stand. I don't know from where this idea has come that you stand on your head. By that, Kundalini is never awakened. It is for a certain degree that head stand is good, but not for everyone. It's for a cure of a disease, that's all. All sorts of funny ideas, even people drink urine. I mean, all sorts of things they do, nonsensical things, to get to realization. There was one lady of Limpauri Baba, another horrible fellow, and she came to me, she was like this, like this, like this. I told her, what did you do there? What did you do with this man? Oh, mother, he blessed me especially. I said, what? He gave me his water. I said, his water? What is his water? And this is the water she drank for days together, for years together. And now she says, I can't complete it. Imagine to bring God to that level. I mean, can there be a greater blasphemy and ridiculous way of treating God Almighty who has created you? There is no respect. No respect. You don't respect yourself, you don't respect your chastity, you don't respect your private part. How can you respect God? This is what it is, and they teach you not to respect. And this is what happens when you start reading Gita. They are all blind people. Blind people can't read Gita. Blind people cannot read Bible. They never understand. They will never understand the inner meaning of it, and they'll just twist it for their own sake. Now the left-hand side is the word that gives you what you call the guilt feeling. I don't know whom to blame now. For example, say the churches, the Catholics. I mean, when did Christ say that you are guilty? From where did they pick up this? I cannot say from where they picked it up. Christ could never have said that you are guilty, that you should feel guilty, that you should suffer. I mean, from childhood, if you tell somebody that you are guilty, will become automatically, it's a conditioning on the person. He will devise methods to find out that what guilt he has. After all, you are a human being, and you can make mistakes, and you are blind. God knows that. And He also knows that all your mistakes are to be forgiven. They are to be forgiven. And you are to be given realization. He is worried about His own creation, isn't He? Is He going to waste you only because you have committed some mistakes here and there? And what mistakes can you commit? That's also left. He is the ocean of love. He is the ocean of compassion. He is the ocean of forgiveness. He is ocean. And you are a drop in the ocean. And how much a drop can carry a dirt that he cannot climb? Think of it. Think of it when you say you are guilty. This is a passion that is developed here. And sometimes I find this guilt is nothing but this Mr. Ego curls up into it and says, all right, I'm guilty, finished. It is not facing the fact. Supposing you have done the mistake, what's the use of saying, I have done the mistake, I have done the mistake, I have done the mistake? Do you correct it? Do you correct it by that, saying that I have done the mistake, now I have done the mistake? It would be something, say we got lost in the car and we went into another road. Now we sit down there crying, oh, we have made the mistake, better sit down. Here people are waiting for me, all right, for the program. And I'm sitting down there crying, we have done the mistake, we have come to the wrong line, we should not have been there. If I have done the mistake, correct it and come back to the right position. Go on correcting it. Instead of that, this is the best way of sitting down saying, we have done the mistake, I should not have done this, I should not have done this, putting down yourself, I can't do it, to be diffident all the time, oh, I just can't do it. This could be very dangerous, very dangerous. For example, supposing in an accident, you have harmed somebody. Now you sit down there, oh, I have done the mistake, I have committed the mistake. Oh, please get hold of that person whom you have harmed, take him to the hospital, get him treated. This is the way we do not face by feeling guilty. It's a very good way of Mr. Ego to coil up into the left issue and say, oh, you are good. Who are you to judge yourself? Why do you judge yourself? How do you judge yourself? You have no method of judging yourself. All the time you find out ways and methods of feeling diffident in life. And such diffident people, what are they going to do? You have to take so much in your hand of honesty and of dedication to God's work. There they are standing with the sword like this. They can't even handle a little stick in their hand. What are they going to do? Because they are all very guilty people, all the time shaking. Why to feel guilty by making yourself so diffident and useless warrior of God's work? This guilt is the worst thing, and in Sahaja Yoga, the first mantra always I have to say, I am not guilty. You don't judge yourself like that. You have no business to condemn yourself. God has created you with such difficulties. Now understand. You are above everything that is much above these things, much above all these flowers, much above all the stars and all the sky that is created. And here you are, like fools, you are feeling guilty and sitting down at home and spoiling the work of God. You have to get to your realization. You have to get to your absolute. You have to get to your own being and become what you are, and not to waste all the work that He has done here. How He must be feeling. How much He has done for you to become this. And here you are on a small thing, just slip out and spoil the complete work. Is this the way to behave towards your father and towards your mother and towards Christ, their Son? Is this the way to treat? We have to stand up with courage, with fearlessness. This gives you fear, unnecessary botheration and worry, and you start thinking about things which do not exist, all imaginary. Electricity is a curse of modern times. And I would request you all to come out. Every morning you tell yourself that I am not guilty. You must say it twice in the morning and twice in the evening. What is there to feel guilty about? I wish Christ had included this in the prayer. But you have to forgive yourself first of all. I mean, we could never have imagined that human beings would be so stupid as to all the time say that I am guilty, I can't forgive myself. Human beings have escapes for everything. Now this is a new modern method they have devised of running away from reality. Reality is to be faced and to be enjoyed. It is called as Raj. It's the one that has to permeate joy. You come and sit on the throne and enjoy. Today my listeners are now, I have been able to tell you in short about the Shuddhi chakra. Let's go to the another chakra here, which is called as the Agya. Agya chakra resides in the center of optic chiasma. Optic chiasma is the one which crosses each other, and in the center of it is the special center called as Agya chakra. It is a very subtle center, and this center is adorned by our Lord Jesus Christ. He is the son of Mahalakshmi. He is the son of the entire power that resides. He is the Mahalakshmi, the Viratangana, the wife of Virat. The power of the primordial. He is the son created by her, and is very well described in the Devi Purana and other books, which are not yet translated, I think, in English, as Mahavishnu. He is called as Mahavishnu. So the Vishnu's greater form, but he is the son of Vishnu. He is the son of Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna has described him as somebody who is the Adhar, is the support of the Guru. He has given him a higher position than himself. And he said this one when he will be coming on this earth. He will prove all that I have said. He will prove because he will be the essence. He will be the Omkara. He will be the all-pervading power. He walks on the water. Not only but he will be resurrected. His body will be resurrected. He has described him fully there, and he has given him the highest position, that he is the Adhar, he is the support, because he lives there at the Mooladhara also, at the support of the root, and he resides. Actually, he is the Vice Chancellor of this university. We can say that at every point we have to have him to certify. If he is not there, you cannot awaken the Kundalini. If you don't believe in him, you cannot retain your realization. Yesterday, a lady asked me, can we not do it without Christ? I said, I'm sorry. Without Christ, because he is all pervading. He is the Omkara. He is the one who is the power. He is the one who is flowing in us. He is the Spirit. Now, if you are seeking the Spirit, how can you do it without it? It's an absurd question. It is he came on this one, and this being a narrow path, he had to pass through it to prove what Krishna has said, that it cannot be killed. He got himself crucified. It was a drama played by. His mother was the Holy Ghost, was a part that is the Mahalakshmi, but she didn't say a word about it. She didn't say it. Because if he had said it, people would have put their attention to her, and He is bestowed with 11 powers of destruction. He's such a powerful person. You may show him as a lanky-panky fellow because that satisfies your sadism. You want to see Christ like that. He was not like that. He is only painted by, I think, Rubens very well, but the best is that in the Sistine Chapel, where Michelangelo has really boldly painted him the way he was. He was a tall, not very tall, quite tall, and a very healthy and a hefty person with a big stomach. He's known as Lambodar, with a big stomach. And he could carry such a huge, big cross on his back. So people, when they showed him, I was amazed at it. How could they show Christ in such a miserable state? How could they do it? I mean, horrible it is. This is just their own expression. That's how they wanted him to be. These are the people who must have definitely crucified Christ, because they like to see him so miserable and unhappy. How can a person who is a realized soul be that? He has to be a cheerful person, fiery, dynamic. It has to be a healthy person. A miserable person, supposing before you stands and talks like this, are you going to believe that? But this is the way they have treated Christ throughout. They have maligned him and they have treated him there. He's been crucified so many times. I find it impossible to believe that how these people are reborn who crucified him again and again and again they are crucified. The crucifixion is not the method of Christ. That's why I also don't like people to wear the cross. I can't see the cross. It's not. Cross, of course, is very helpful, because if the bad spirits see the cross, they run away. But it is a reminder of something which was unbearable. Because the mother had all the power, she was Mahalakshmi. He had 11 powers. 11 powers to destroy. You can imagine, he has still those powers, and he had to go through all that without destruction. He sought me. Now people may say, how was he resurrected? First of all, they have an objection to immaculate conception. I mean, they have objection for everything. He was not a human being. He was the divine power. I conceive you in my heart. You know that. And I put my kundalini and I put you on from my heart into it. And I took you out. The way you have got your second birth, in the same way Christ got his immaculate. But she put him in the heart and into the uterus down below, and she created him. It's very easy to doubt him and say things against him, because he is no more. And the Jews must learn a lesson now. They denied him once and they have suffered. Now don't deny him again. You cannot deny the person, the embodiment of this divine power. Christians may be blown off. If Christians have tortured you, forget them. They are just the same as you are. Fanatics. Whether they are Christians or they are Muslims, Khomeini is the same as any other person. I do not find any difference whatsoever. Dogmatic, ignorant, fanatic. Forget these people. They do not stand for Christ. Christ himself has said in 2nd chapter, Matthew 2nd verse, he'll be calling me, Christ, Christ, I won't recognize you. Who are thee? The people who say Christ, we are the solicitors of Christ. We are the people who are in charge of Christ. All of these people will be charged, and they will be thrown away in the hell the way they have managed things about Christ. Some of them are genuine. They don't know that this is artificial. They are genuinely, but they must get their realization. They must ask for their real realization, and they must know what is Christ within themselves. They have to awaken with Christ here. Now, as I was telling you, that Christ said that you are to be born again, that I am to be born in your heart. Now, the heart center is here as well as here, because the heart is controlled by the center at the fontanelle bone. And that's what he said, that you should get your realization, when he said you should be put in the heart. Now the people of various countries, even your country, went down to India. And they never told that Christ was born, who was the Mahavishnu, because he's already described in the Quran. That he's the Adhara, he's the one who will be once awakened in the Kundalini, by the Kundalini, will suck your karmas. They never went and told, so the Indians went on with their karma theory, and these gurus have come here to teach you karma. It is amazing how you accept all these theories of nonsense. Like they say that you have to suffer because you have done bad karma. Then they may say that yes, you can give your balance, but you go this way or that way, and you just keep it to balance. If that is so, that you have to go to one extreme and to another extreme, then what are they doing here? Why are they talking? They should shut up. Because they cannot do anything. They cannot give you realization. They cannot save you from this situation. So it's better that you suffer. But why do they say you should suffer? Why should they say? Because they want to enjoy your suffering. They want you to suffer because they enjoy. So many of these disciples who came from these horrible gurus, who said you must have your karmas and you must suffer, told me that they saw their gurus giggling at them and mocking at them. And they showed me some of the photographs they had taken of these gurus. It shows complete mockery of these stupid disciples who were suffering in their body and suffering in their minds in the presence of these gurus. So they have a double enjoyment. One, the money, another is the sadism. And third, the greatest of all, that their purpose is to kill you all and to destroy you all because you are God's men. That they achieve by their falsehood. Because they are impressed by their falsehood. Now see, if there was any false guru here, this all would be filled. The whole thing would be filled. On the road there would be a jam. But the real guru, I have seen not only here, everywhere. It starts very slowly. Of course, in a place where people are very simple and who are very sensitive, it's a different one. But the people in a city especially, they are so insensitive to reality and so sensitive to devils that it is surprising. They feel very much at home with the devil and very much lost with the reality. Because you are impossible. So you must know that you have to become the real. You have to become that which is the spirit, which is not so far, is shining in your central nervous system, in your awareness. And this is the spirit, is the one, is Christ. I've spoken before also in the churches, but today for the first time I am speaking about Christ in the church. And that's why I was very happy that at least in this church I would say something that would establish it, and that when people will come here, I hope they get their realization, and that something works out here, they get at least awakening, because so many saints are sitting in front of me. Maybe that one day will come in this church. Maybe it may work out that people will get their realization. Christ's life was only for 3-4 years. Nobody allowed him to live longer than that. Whatever was possible was done, but such stupid people, you could not talk to them. And that's how they killed him. He could not speak to them anymore, and that's how his life was finished. But in that small life of his, what a spark it was. What a spark it was. The way people have behaved towards him is atrocious. I must say the apostles themselves, because this Matthew and this, he was such an intellectual, he would not accept the idea of immaculate conception. Very difficult man. He would argue it out. He said, if a virgin is going to give the child, then everybody is going to say that it's a very, very blasphemous thing, it's a very, very illegitimate thing, and it should not be spoken of. Horrible fellow, and one better than the other. And when they took up about the spreading of Christianity, they took it in such a funny way, because they became supra-conscious people. They started speaking the languages of so many people. That part of Babel is wrong. where they became not realized. The wind part is all right. But so many people I have seen who come to my program, when they come for realization, they feel the wind for a while and immediately they shunt off and become supraconscious. Now we see what is supraconscious entry and the subconscious entry. Now you see here there are two buttons. These are the two buttons. One controls, of course, the pituitary, that controls the ego, and the pineal, that controls the super. But this also has a capacity to blow this out itself and blow this out itself. Supposing you become supraconscious, or you start thinking too much about something about the future, what must be the galaxy, you should find out about it, and you must find out about the stars and about all these things and about future, about the prophecies, what else is that is astrology and all these. It's a futuristic. You people are mostly futuristic. You try to plan, you try to do, and every plan fails, of course. But this thinking of planning of too much can push this up this side. Too much. Actually, as shown here is this side, but actually, when it is placed like this. The ego is placed like this, and the superego is like this. Here we could not show the three dimensions. So, from the back to this side is the superego, and from here to here is the ego. Now, this ego bloats out this into this side. And when it bloats out this side, it goes into the supraconscious area. So, it comes up here. Now, the supraconscious area gives you visions, hallucinations. LSD does that. LSD does that. Then you start seeing some eyes of a person who is a dead person but a very ambitious person. For example, you might get the vision of Hitler. You might get the vision of, say, all these horrible kings. You might get three colors. You may say the aura. And one has to understand here that these auras start coming to us because we shift, we disintegrate from our being. That's how we start seeing something else separated from us. To see auras is not a good sign. If you are seeing auras, we have to bring you back to the same position because you have to be in the present and not in the future. You get disintegrated. For example, if there's a machine, say, which takes the auras. I was talking to someone who has done that work of aura picturing. Now, after realization, you don't get any auras in a person. Cannot get any auras in a person because it's integrated, completely integrated. But when he is in a mess, you start getting the auras. Like if he has cancer, he will get auras. If he is an alcoholic, he will get auras. Besides the crazy auras. A normal person may have auras, not so much crazy. But auras you cannot feel when the whole thing is integrated. You can see in a say, light. If there is no aberration, that means it's a good light. If there is aberration, then it's a bad light. All the seven colors of a light has to be concentrated and has to be integrated. If they are prismatic and if they are giving you separately, then it is not one integration. And when it is one integration, then you cannot see seven lights. So the person is not integrated. Now all these auras come to us because we are made of seven type of buffoons. But the people who are on the right side only believe in the five buffoons. They call them koshas. I don't think if I have time for that, but these are the koshas as created by, one is created by the first sentence, by the second sentence, by the third sentence. This is how the physical goes, okay. By the fourth one, then the fifth one. And the sixth and the seventh are the things that they do not create for us outside. They create inside near the heart. And these are created near the heart, but as soon as you get your realization, they all become one. They all merge into one, and that is the spirit. So, as if you can say, when the spirit exists in a prismatic state, then you get the auras of seven. But when it becomes integrated, that you become one, all the auras become one. So integration is the aim of Sahaja Yoga. And now I think I have told you how you can also go to the subconscious area, the same way. The subconscious area you can move in the left hand. If you move into collective subconscious area, so for example, you can be triggered into cat. By this triggering, you might get heart attacks and things like that. Diabetes now. Many people believe sugar gives you diabetes. Is not. Sugar doesn't give you diabetes. What gives you diabetes is too much thinking. Those who do not think too much never get, Indian farmers never get diabetes. They don't know what disease is. Because you think too much, you work too much, this center works too much. It has to create food for the brain. It has to replace the brain centers. And these brain centers are to be replaced. For that it creates out of fat the new centers, the evolved cells that are sent here. And because of that work, if it is too much, it neglects the other things which it has to work out throughout. One of them is the spleen, another is pancreas. And when it neglects the pancreas, you get diabetes. Not by sugar. Of course, sugar, because it has to convert it into fat. But if you do not have sugar, then it's a double work. If you have sugar, it converts it into fat and makes it useful for your brain. But if you think too much, then, and you don't take sugar, it's a double action. But if you just take sugar and do not think, also can be problematic, because he has to convert too much of into fat. You see, so too much work is given, there is no balance. So one has to understand that too much sugar is not good, but you must take sugar because the sugar is needed, and stop your thinking. How do you stop your thinking? Only by rising above the Agya Chakra. This is a very, very important point at Agya, that you must know that the thinking stops. Now the thinking comes to you like this, like a wave. It rises, the thought, and falls off. Another thought rises and falls off. In between, there is a place called as Vilamba. Now, when the thought rises, it automatically falls down. You can see the rising of the thought, but not falling off. Now, this space is the place of present. This rises either from the ego or superego and goes into the past. The in-between space is the present. One is the future, one is the past. Now, this space has to increase. When it increases, then what happens is that Agya Chakra opens more and you become thoughtlessly aware. You become thoughtlessly aware. You come in the present. There is no thought. And thought is the barrier between the creation and ourselves. For example, you look at this, say, a beautiful stone that is placed there, or anything. You watch it. Now, if you want to think, oh, it looks like a man, it looks like a devil, or it looks like a god, or whatever it is, there's a thought you put. So what you do when you are realized, you just watch. And whatever the joy is put there of the creator, of an artist, completely is within you, because there is no thought, there is no waste, there is no disturbance in a completely silent lake. All that is around it, all that creation, complete, absolutely reflected, and you enjoy it with thoughtless awareness, called as Nirvichar Samadhi. There's complete Nirvichara, where you have no thought and you start enjoying that creation complete. The joy of that is there, nothing is there. So the thoughtless awareness comes in when the Kundalini processes are getting. It does double work. First, it makes you thoughtlessly aware. Secondly, because the Kundalini, if it has pierced through, it pushes these, and she fills these with the grace. The grace falls on you. When the grace comes in, you start relaxing. These centers also relax. These centers are in attention. But when the grace comes in, they go back into normal. So there is more sort of expansion, and the thoughtless awareness starts establishing itself at the Agya Chakra. Now the mantra of Agya Chakra is the Lord's Prayer. It has got two sides, Hum and Sham. Hum means I am, and Sham means I forgive. So if supposing this is statue, you have to say I forgive. If there is ego within us, you should say I forgive. If there is superego within us, you should say I am. I am. So it is Hum and Sham is the bija, is the seed of the prayer, Lord's Prayer. Now there are people who are talking the Lord's Prayer is not all right. I mean, who are you? What do you know about it? Everybody is challenging everyone. What do you know? What is your authority? The trouble is, everybody is entitled to do what they like with religion and with God. Though they do not know anything about it, they are absolutely ignorant, but they think they have a right, because there is no political control over it. Even Hitler can talk about Christ. Anybody can talk about it. And about the prayer that he taught you. Who are you to challenge it? Who are you to challenge him? I can't understand. How do you challenge a person without knowing your own position in relation to him? But this is a very, very common thing that people do, and it's due to ego. Ego makes you high-handed, and this is the worst type of high-handedness, that you challenge God, you challenge Christ, you challenge everything which you don't understand. Your mind is limited. It's a very limited vehicle. You cannot do anything with this mind of yours. You have to go beyond it. Somebody has to trigger you into the space. You have to go into there. You have to become the spirit. Only by realizing your spirit you can get connected with. Or if before that you are not connected. That's why you have to become the spirit. And the spirit is the connection, is the link with God. There is no other way you can be linked with God. If you want to keep yourself in delusion, you go ahead with it. But this is the real thing I'm telling you, the true thing I'm telling you, for which you should know you cannot pay, you cannot purchase it, you cannot demand it, and you cannot work it out. The grace of God has to come, fall upon you to do it, or a person who is enlightened can only enlighten. Now, about Christ, if I have to speak, I've spoken once on Christ for 7 days, 1 hour. There's no end. It's such a great incarnation that I just do not know how to say that I've spoken all about it. As it is, we have many tapes in London. You can send for it. We are now going to have a center here. Herman has offered his place, and we'll be sending those tapes there. At least 300 tapes we have got in London, which you can listen to and see for yourself. And all of these tapes are very good, because they are actually mantras. They work out the mantras, and you also get listening to them, opening of your centers and all that. Now the last. This is embarrassing, because he already has told you that I am supposed to have been here. It is the integration. The end of it is the integration of all these 7 centers. All these 7 centers are placed around this area called as a limbic. This is the limbic. Now if you cut it, the brain, like this transfer section of the brain, you'll find it's like a lotus. You can find it that the marking is like a lotus opened out. And its 1,000 petals, as called, are like this. But the coloring is not all right. You people are so fond of these pastel colors, so they have used it, but we can say that this kind of 1,000 petals is there. Now it is said in the Bible that I will appear before you like tongues of flames. And they all appear, but these are very large ones. And they appear as living flames in different colors, starting from one to another, and they are 1,000 in number. Now the doctors argue that they cannot be 1,000, they have to be 192. I mean, just imagine these foolish people to argue on that, but they do not know they are thousands in number and they are placed here. But in the limbic area, all the 7 centers are surrounded. Like we have got now, you see from here, this is the Agya Chakra. Here, behind it, here at the back, just exactly at the back is the Muladhara. Surrounding it is Swadhisthana. Surrounding the Muladhara is the Swadhisthana. If you are catching on Swadhisthana, you can feel it within yourself, the heaviness. If you are catching, say you have diabetes, give an example. Diabetic people get blind after some time. They lose the power of the eyes because this thing oppresses the optic lobe, which is controlled by the Muladhara chakra. We call it as back agya, this portion at the back. So this is the Swadhisthana chakra here at the back. In the center here you find a bone, that's the Muladhara, and around it is the Swadhisthana. Then here is the Vishuddhi chakra, is the Virat, is the Vishuddhi chakra here. When you catch cold, you'll find you'll have a problem here. But if you apply something here, you'll feel better. And this is the Vishuddhi chakra, which is related to your throat, this one. Now, if you have problems with collectivity also, you might find a big block here. Now, at the back of it is the Navi here, at the back. This Navi has a left and a right side. As we have shown here, the left Navi and the right Navi. There are 2 left and right Navi. I don't know if I've told you about that left-right Navi. But I mean, you can find out from the book that there is left and right Navi. So you have got a left and a right Navi. And also, you sometimes feel the Navi in here. Some people do feel who have problems with their gurus and things like that, you see. Then you feel it. But the whole void is here. And this void is called as Ekadasha Rupa. This void, the whole of it. It goes like a ring round. And this ring is very important because this you get it from the void. If you go to a bad guru or someone, you get this. And this is the one that is of the rider. The rider, the one who has 11 powers of destruction, the one who is going to come, to slash out. Then he is not going to give you any counsel, he is not going to redeem you, no realization. He will slash out those who are not realized, and he will emancipate the one who are realized. That's the last. That you don't ask just now. Give some time more to save more people, because he is not going to question anyone, he is not going to allow you any more time, and that will be the time of complete destruction of all the satanic forces. So that is the Ekadasha here. That collects because all these horrible gurus are here. These are the Ekadasha. And this is one thing is to be understood that one should get rid of this very easily. Now these 2 children of Rama who were born here were endowed on the sun and the moon. The sun and the moon both are here. And the sun became, as I told you, Buddha, ultimately here, and he became not ultimately, the Mahadeva. They are. But when they were on this earth, Buddha talked about non-violence, and people thought non-violence to chicken, to bugs. These Mahavira people, these Jains, we have got horrible community called Jains in India. And they believe in vegetarianism to this extent that they get a Brahmin, pay him money, and put him in a hut, and bring all the bugs of the village, put those in the hut, and the bugs live on that Brahmin. It's a fact, even today they do. And then they pay some money to the Brahmin because the bugs are fresh. Now you just tell me, this kind of a nonsensical vegetarianism, am I going to give realization to chickens? Just think of it, or to the bug, or to the earthworm. You are human beings, you should eat a flesh which is not of a bigger animal than yourself, because that's horrible. But you can eat the flesh of the animals which are smaller than you. There's no harm in eating that. And this kind of a nonsensical vegetarianism don't do any harm to the animals. But they don't mind doing these giants are the greatest. They are, you see, just like suckers. And they don't mind killing people for their money. They don't mind going for what you call shikars in hunting and killing anything. But they will not eat a chicken or even the garlic. Now garlic, as you know, is very good for the heart. But they don't eat garlic. It's very good for the heart. It's very good for people who have got tendency towards hardening of the arteries. So the circulation is a problem. It's very good to eat that. And for cold, those people who suffer from cold, if they regularly eat a fresh garlic thing in the night, brush their teeth, they'll be much better off. So, while talking about it, I will say. Now these 7 centers are here. Now at the fontanelle bone is the center of the heart. Now just imagine, it is at the center. So where do I exist? I mean, all of them are 7 centers, so I'm just like a bubble. But if I'm in your heart, so the key of Sahaja Yoga that you have to recognize. If you cannot recognize me, you cannot progress in Sahaja Yoga. I have to frankly admit it, because he's already exposed me. I don't tell this in my first lecture, but I have to say that please now recognize me. As your mother, I would request you to recognize me. And you don't have to give me anything, just take things from me. Just have it yourself, but recognize me. If you deny me, then this won't open, this will be always covered. That's why at the end when you say, Mother, give me my realization, because I have come on this earth to give you realization. That's my job. It's one of the worst jobs that one can have. Because it is so difficult with people to talk to them, to tell them about it, and they are all the time up in arms. They are so aggressive and they start fighting. It's a mother's job. It is a thankless job, absolute thankless job. I have to do it, and also only mother can do it. Because if you had tried, you would have taken those 11 things and finished off everyone. If you had asked Krishna, he has also Samhara Shakti, he would have killed. But to use the whole thing with integrated idea, with balancing, with understanding human beings, you have to have a mother. And that's why sometimes people try to become very familiar and start taking advantage or taking liberty, which is a wrong thing. Whatever I am, and I'm loved. I can't help it. I really can't help it. I'm compassionate. One day I did feel very disgusted, really. Once I did feel very disgusted with people the way they were, and I was just saying that, forget it. And then suddenly I saw my photograph, and I saw my eyes. And I said, Nirmala, you are compassion. You are compassion, you can't help it. You just can't help it. I have to work it out. I know it means sometimes too much, but I have to work it out. Now some people come out with the question, why you, mother? I said, why not you? It's a good idea. Come along and do it. I'll be the best. It will be the best for me to retire, and my husband might give you a pension for it. He'll be so happy that I have found out somebody who will replace me. But I have not yet found out somebody who will replace me. I wish you could, it will be a good idea. Now the name Nirmala itself means immaculate. Means the one who is the cleansing one. Is the name of the goddess also. My actually sign name is Lalita, is the name of the primordial mother. That is the name of the primordial mother. But to be a human being, with all these centers around, you working, for example, for the last 3 days, you don't know how much I am vibrating. You can ask Warren and other people. I asked them to take the vibrations and they were doing like this, but they couldn't touch me. They tried to put the hand on the head and they were just, and they didn't know how to touch me, even it is so much vibrating. So it's not easy to carry all this load on this human body, appear like a human being, to act like a human being, to behave like a human being, so that there is a rapport. Why an incarnation is needed? There has to be a rapport, because the unconscious cannot talk to you. Whatever you see in the dream comes back to you afterwards from the subconscious areas. All the ideas in you. It's such a mess, such a confusion, and you cannot decide anything. So it has to come on this earth as a human being, I tell you, with a language. I never knew English all my life. The first time I learned English, but still I don't know American English. I hope I'll be able to learn something more when I travel around. And it's a thing that is God's desire that you have to be realized. It's all written in the Bible. It's all written in all the books of the Scriptures. It is very largely written in the books of Adi Shankaracharya, who has described me full, in a very full way. And it's easy for Indians to get to. I mean, though I have not much disciples in the city, but they are aware of my advent and they know that I'm there. Most of them know about it. But they can't understand why I have come to America. They say that why do you come here? The people here won't accept. But I don't think so, because I think you are great speakers, very good, born speakers. You are special there. You have to work for it. I must say the transformation that has taken place in the Western Sahaja has not been achieved by Indians so much, though they have an advantage because they are born in a country which keeps the attention intact. The attention is very much intact. So it is easy to work it out there. Here it is difficult. It doesn't appeal to people, but still. You are all great people. So many of you are lost, but they can be all saved. But those who are here should know that you have the greatest opportunity in your lives today to be realized and to give realization to others. First of all, you have to become all right. Then you can give life to others. Now, the greatest thing that is needed for Sahaja Yoga is wisdom. And logically to be realized and to give realization to others. First of all, you have to become all right. Then you can give life to others. Now, the greatest thing that is needed for Sahaja Yoga is wisdom. And logically you will reach at a conclusion and understand that Sahaja Yoga is the end of all the problems of all the problems. For example, take the capitalism and communism. Now, I am a capitalist because I have all the powers. And I am the communist because I cannot enjoy it without using it. But it's spontaneous. I have not to do it because I think about it. It just works. It is like that. All the problems, political problems, economic problems, everything can be solved. Krishna has said, Yoga Kshema Vahamya. When you get your yoga, you get your well-being. He has promised. He could have said, Kshema Yoga Vahamya. He did not. He said, Yoga Kshema Vahamya. First you yoga, first unite. Unite with the spirit, then you are blessed by all these things. This is the center of the even material wealth of Lakshmi, which works out. And all the Sahaja Yogis who have been to me are blessed by material wealth also, but not too much like Mr. Ford. That's an extreme case. That's a headache. But they get well-being from every angle in a balanced way and integrated. So the last message is of integration, that you get completely integrated. Whatever you do, your heart supports it, your mind supports it, and your body supports it. You are completely integrated in one being, that is your spirit. May God